All right, good morning, class. Happy Friday. Hope you guys are all doing well. Right before we head over this nice 2-day weekend, let's get over these notes here. Let's go ahead and complete these notes. Measures of central tendency and dot plots on page 79. Okay, is where we will begin. Question number 1 actually is going to require us to fill in some data. Since I'm not there to get some of the data that I want from you guys, and we're actually going to start on page 80, skip this part, and continue from here. Okay, so make sure first thing you guys have a calculator. Have a nice calculator out. Please borrow one, take it out, so that way you can use it to calculate your mean really quickly. Turning the page. We're going to start on number 5. Here we go. We have number 5. Below are the test scores for our last Algebra 1 test. Here's the data set. Create a dot plot below for the data given. So a dot plot is a way to kind of really see how the data is spread out visually. And each dot is going to represent a number in the data set. So here we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. There are 14 students. Okay, so there should be 14 dots in the data. So we're going to go ahead and start. Now this says 40, that's 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, so on and so forth. So I'm going to do this each by starting on the list. We have 80. So I'm going to go to 80 and put 1 dot. To keep track, I'm going to lightly go ahead and cross out 80, or you can just put a check mark above it. Next one is 70. So we're going to go ahead and do that for each one. 60. There is no reason to rush this. If you rush, you're more likely to make mistakes. And if you make mistakes, especially if you're working on with a pen, you're going to get frustrated when you have to go back and fix it. Here we go. Okay, so I've already plotted all the points, and now I want to make sure and confirm that I did, in fact, plot these correctly. First, I'm going to count. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 dots, so there are 14 students, so this confirms that we're ready to move on. And if you notice our test scores here, if you're looking at this test scores, most of our scores are on the right side of this little chart. And it shows and indicates that we definitely have a skewed to the right data. First thing they want us to find is the mean. They also want to find the median, the mode, and the range. I'm going to always do it from easiest. I find to find the easiest is always the mode. Remember that mode is the number that appears the most. So the number that appears the most, we're going to look at our data set. And now if I look at the dot plot, it's easy to identify that we have 4 students that scored 85. So the mode equals 85. Next easiest is to find is the range. Remember, the range is always going to be the maximum value minus the minimum value. Here we go. So the maximum value of our data set, looking at the dot plot, is 90. Subtracted by the minimum value, which in this case is 45. If you have your calculators, you can go ahead and use that to calculate it, or you can just go ahead and do some mental math. Here we go. 90 minus 45 is 45. So the range is 45. go back and find the median. The median would be the middle. Now we can use the dot plot, but since I'm not there, I'm actually just going to use it, or find it, excuse me, by just rewriting the data. But now that we have the data kind of laid out for us in the order that we want, we're going to go ahead and write it. So we have 45. Remember, this has to be in numerical order first. And what you're trying to find is the middle. So the first number we have is 45. Then we have 50. If numbers repeat, you still have to write them that many times as it repeats to make sure you find the accurate middle or the median of the data set. And just to confirm again, you should be counting as you go. Here are 4. Here 4 more, that's 8. 2 more is 10. 4 more is 14, just like we had at the beginning. Here we go. So to find the middle, I like to chop off from one end to the other end. I'm going to chop off 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. And you should notice we have 2 numbers in the middle. When there are 2 numbers in the middle, you always have to take the average of them. Averaging them out would be to add them. So the median equals 80 plus 80. And you divide it by those 2 numbers, or the amount of those 2 numbers, which is 2. So 80 plus 80 is 160, divided by 2 is 80. Anytime these values are the same, it will be equal to 80. You take the average of them. Okay, now we find the mean, or also known as the average. You're going to find the average by getting the sum of the data divided by numbers in the data. So the sum, we're going to go ahead and add them. I'm going to go ahead and use a calculator, but let's go ahead and show that. 80 plus 70 plus 75 plus 60 plus ... Okay, there are 14 students, so there should be 14 numbers in the data set. Therefore, we are dividing by 14 because there are 14 student scores. So I'm going to go ahead and do this here. I'm going to use this one here to start adding. Now, it does not have to be in order, but let's make sure we're doing this carefully. Here we go. 45 plus 50 plus 60 plus continue. Just confirming. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 4. There we go. Perfect. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and add them. If you're using the calculator in the classroom, make sure you add them first, hit equal sign. You should get 1040, and then you're gonna divide that number, 1040, divided by number in the data set, 14. So our average is 74 point, I'm gonna round up to 3. So 74.3 is the average. Okay, so that's question number 5. Now, I did show you on Desmos how to quickly have the Desmos calculator or calculate mean, median, mode is not calculated, but you can find that easily, and the range for you. Okay. All right, number 6, we have a problem. We have a temperature of the week for 2 different Whittiers, one Whittier in California, one Whittier in Alaska. In Whittier of California, we have day 1 through 7, and here are the temperatures. In Whittier, Alaska, temperature, they give us a dot plot. And that question is asking, given the table and the dot plot above, which has a larger spread? Larger spread is another way of saying range. So it's asking, what is the range? And we know that the range is the max value subtracted by the minimum value. So we want to see who has a higher spread or a larger spread. So let's go ahead and find the range of each one. So let's find the range of Whittier, California. The maximum value at Whittier, California would be 78. and the minimum value would be 74. You could do some mental math. I'm going to write it down just so we make sure we know what we just did. Max minus min. So the range for Whittier, California's temperature is 4 degrees. And let's do the same thing for Whittier, Alaska. We have our maximum, which was 39, minus our minimum, which is 25. So the range for Whittier, Alaska is 14. Remember that the higher the spread, okay, the larger the range means that more data is spread out, meaning that the data varies more. So if you have a smaller spread, that means the data is more consistent. You're more likely to see something very, very, very little. It's not going to vary too much. So again, look at this one. This goes 25 to 39 degrees. This one's all within the range of 75, 74. I mean, a little bit hot with 78, but nothing crazy. Here we go. All right, so which one has the largest spread? Here we go. So Whittier, Alaska has a larger spread. We calculated the range to determine this question. Okay. Okay, number 7 says Mr. Smith and Mrs. Garcia recorded their class shoe sizes. And here's the data set for Mr. Smith's class. Here's the data set for Mrs. Garcia's class. And it says in Mr. Smith's class, what is the median class shoe size? So median, again, is that middle value. And we always want to make sure we arrange our data in numerical value or numerical order. So I'm going to use Mr. Smith's class. I'm going to write the data. So it's 6, comma 6, because there are 2 dots at the number 6. There's a 7, there's an 8, there's a size 10 twice, size 12 twice, 13, and 14. And again, we're going to count to the middle, and we're going to eliminate this time 4 from one side, 4 from the other. Notice how there's 2 numbers. We know that the average of the same number is going to be the same number, 10. In Mrs. Garcia's class, what is the median class shoe size? So we're going to do the same thing, but now we're going to have to arrange them in order. So I have 1, 2, 3 eighths. Then we have 1, 2, 3 nines. And then 1, 2, 3 tens. Counting in the middle now, I'm going to count 3 and 3 from each side. And one more, leaving us with 9 as the median. All right, let's continue. Last page of notes for today, and then you're going to work on some homework assignments. And I'll tell you what I'm checking on Monday and Tuesday for those that are even period. Page 81 says number 8, the average high temperatures recorded for the city of Whittier are listed below. Find the mean, the median, mode, and range. And I'm going to go ahead and help you with this one here. So we're going to go ahead and find first the mode. I like to always find the mode. So let's make sure we remember that's the most. Number that appears the most, if you can see, would be 89. 89 appears twice. No other number appears more than that. And we want to find the mean, median, and range left. So let's find the range. That's the max minus the min. So the maximum value of the temperatures of Whittier, which is 89, subtracted by the minimum value, which I see as 70. I don't see another value lower than 70. So subtract that, we get a range of 19. Next, we want to find the middle, and then we'll do the mean, which takes the most time. So the median, let's list them from least to greatest. Here we go. We got 70, 71. Do I have a 72? No 72, but I definitely have 73. 74, 75. No 76, but we have a 77 and a 79. Here we go. We're now going to go to the 80s. 81, no, but we have an 82. No 83, but we have an 84. And then we have last three values, which is 88, 89, and 89. So we're going to cut some values from one side to the other to make sure we find the middle. I'm going to cut 4 from the left side, so let's cut 4 from the right side. Notice how there are only 4 numbers left, so let's just cancel those two to leave these two in the middle. Some of you are able to do the mental check of what is the middle between 77 and 79, but you can always calculate it by doing the average. So we're going to take the average of these two numbers. Median is equal to 77 plus 79 divided by 2. Calculate it, you should get 78. And here we go. Okay, the mean. Here we go. The mean, we're going to have to add all these values up. So take out your calculator. Now let's go ahead and add 70 plus 71. Here we go. So I left off at 89 twice, so 632. I made a mistake here. Plus 88. I'm continuing here. I already added up to August, which was 632. So I'm going to continue with September. 88, 82, 75, and 71. So if I add these values up, I get 948. And now I'm going to go ahead and divide that by the number of months, which is 12. So we get an average of, or mean of 79. I'm going to go ahead and write that here. So the average equals 948 divided by 12. Make sure you always write it down just in case you do make a mistake wherever to pinpoint where the mistake is made, especially if you didn't get the same value of 948 in the numerator of the average. Okay. Number 9, I'm going to leave it up to you to do. It says the temperature is going to be increased by 2 degrees next year. Make a table and calculate the mean, median, mode, and range. So each of these values should be added up by 2. So I'll add up the original values by 2. We can get this started. Here we go. The first one would be 72. Next one would be 73, so on and so forth. So go ahead and calculate those. I'm going to go ahead and I want you to pause the video. If you are the sub and you are listening, go ahead and pause the video. Give the students about 3 minutes. Go ahead and calculate the new mean, median, mode, and range. Okay? Please, please, please go ahead and pause the video. Thank you. All right, here we go. So this is the new values that you should have gotten here. Let's see if we can get this to work. So the new values are here. The new mean should have been 81. New median should be 80. New mode was 91. And the new range is still 19. What you want to make sure you take away from this is you should notice by comparing the new measures of central tendency compared to their old ones, it went from 79 to 81. 78 to 80, and from 89 to 91. Notice that the range did not change. It remained the same. So what happened with the mean, median, the mean, and mode? The mean, median, and mode, excuse me. Okay, they all increased. Increased by 2. And obviously the increase by 2 is the value that they told you at the beginning, increased by 2. So this kind of helps us perform this really quickly. So if I give you a problem like this, you wouldn't have to actually go back and calculate each one of these things individually. If you conceptually understand that if every single part of the data is increased by a certain number, then you just add that number to the mean, the median, and the mode. The range is always going to remain the same. And that's what it says down here. If you look at data transformations, if you are adding a value, increasing a value to each number in the number set, then all you have to do to the mean, the median, the mode is add that value to those original measures. The range will always stay the same. Now it is different if you are multiplying. So if you actually multiply a number, so let's say all the numbers above had doubled, then you would actually have to multiply. Doubling means multiply by 2, so you would multiply the mean, the median, the mode by 2. This also happens to the range, so if you are multiplying, then you definitely have to multiply the range, so it's going to be effective, okay? Let me turn the page. You have plenty of time to complete the homework assignment. Homework assignment is page 83, 84, and 85. So please make sure you complete it. I will be checking packets on Monday and Tuesday. I will be checking up to page 85 to make sure it is complete. Okay, if you have questions, you can wait for Monday when I have tutoring. I will have Monday tutoring and Tuesday as well. Okay. You guys have a great day. We'll see you guys Monday.